Hey yo, welcome to another edition of Hey Yo. I'm the host of this show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, Del Rico Shelton. As you know, the podcast is Hey Yo with D Shelton. Let me correct it, but I'm still the host. I'm still the host. I'm me. As always, this podcast, show, whatever you want to call it, sponsored by Rose Sweets LLC. That's Rose Sweets LLC, the best cake, pops, and cupcakes in the DMV area. You can reach them on Facebook and Instagram at row underscore sweets underscore LLC and by email at rosesweetsllc@gmail.com. And as always, I'd like to thank Riverside.fm for providing the platform, studio stuff, of which I am providing this content today for you. How y'all feel? It's been maybe about a week. I would say maybe about a week since I gave you some thoughts and things. I took a little minor hiatus. Um, Please like, share, and subscribe to Hey Yo with D Shelton. Reason being, hit that notification, and whenever I do a podcast, comes up, you get to listen, enjoy, comment, everything that you like to do with the podcast and whatever. I do like feedback, so you know, hit a brother up with that. You can also look up Hey Yo D Shelton on Instagram as well, and on the TikToky, aka TikTok at Hey Yo exclamation point with D Shelton, and you'll get some content there. I'm getting better with it. You know, um, as of today, the presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden has finished, and I'm giving you all my thoughts on this pretty much immediately. But before I get into that, we got some sports. NBA draft was done over the first time for 2 days. Yesterday was the first round, today's second round. And it needs some work. It needs some work. You need a haircut too. But back to the NBA draft. It needs some work if you're going to do 2 days. We need some more pizzazz, I would say. But it was cool. First time y'all doing this. ABC, ESPN was handling majority of the duties, and I believe NBA TV as well. Um, I'm gonna kind of concentrate on, of course, my Lakers, and since we're in the good old nation's capital, Washington D.C., I'm going to also deal with the Washington Wizards and what they did. But let's get to the formalities. The number one overall pick. Well, I'm gonna give you also kind of what I think was the oh shit moment. And what I mean by oh shit is that this particular rookie that I'm thinking about is in a situation that probably is going to help this team and him blossom all in one shot. But well, I'm thinking about two rookies actually. Then I'm thinking that let me clarify, two rookies. But as for the number one overall pick, Zachariah, I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name. It's French. Zachary Reisaker from France. 7'4". I'm sorry, 6'9" forward, 195 pounds from France. Number one overall pick. Don't know much about him, But as I say, you're gonna find every draft has talent. To me, this particular draft is what I consider the role player draft. You might find a star here. Superstar might be. We don't know. 2, 3 years usually down the line, that's when you really see how a draft class really is in all sports, all team sports, I should say. But I don't know much about the guy. I really don't. But I'm just reading what they say as like scouts. His strengths. He's a versatile wing whose ability to shoot on the move, competitiveness, versatility defensively, and overall feel for the game helped him stand out against men playing against high level competition in Euro Cup and the French League. Okay. If you don't know the French League and stuff like that, Victor Wembanyama came there. His weaknesses, though, he lacks ideal strength. Oh, by the way, this is from ESPN. He lacks ideal strength and ideal length and strength. While he shows the ability as a passer and attacking into the open court, he is early in his development as a shot creator, playing a narrow role over the past season, leaving questions about his ability to soak up greater usage long term. That kind of don't sound like a number one pick to me, but you know, I mean, I think he's just 19 years old. So the verdict. Reisker found other ways to contribute when he hit a mid-year shooting slump and put together several strong playoff performances to finish the season. He has made a convincing case to hear his name called early in the draft, as every NBA team is looking for players in his mold. He was drafted number one overall for the first time by the Atlanta Hawks. And what I mean by first time, I do not recall the Atlanta Hawks ever being the actual number one overall pick, getting the overall number one pick, I should say. I'm just saying. But seems to me that, you know, they're happy. But that's all I got with this guy. You know, I'm going to come back to a couple more dudes. But let's get to my Lakers, right? Well, no. I'm going to get a little happy. I'm going to get a little happy. And then I'm going to probably get a little perturbed. Um, the Washington Wizards, okay? Number 2 overall pick, again, from France, Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr is 7 feet tall, 224 pounds. Again, here's his strength. I'm reading it to you right now. Sarr has a 9'2" standing reach. God damn. He has impressive mobility, quickness, and explosiveness that gives him rare upside as a rim protector and switch defender stepping out on the perimeter. AKA, they think this boy can play some defense. Weaknesses. Sarr showed flashes of potential as a ball handler, passer, and jump shooter, but he is still finding consistency with his toughness and feel for the game to complement his impact as a rim runner, pick and roll finisher, and versatile defender. In other words, he needs to work on his game. He's raw. Pause. What that means for those that don't know basketball per se, it means he has a lot of ability, but he was really never taught the game how to maneuver, how to. Right now, he's just going off athleticism and height. So he has to fine tune his game to be deadly. The verdict. He exceeded expectation in his long season in the NBL. For those that don't know, the NBL is the National Basketball League based in Australia/New Zealand. Anchoring Perth's defense, that's the name of his team. And finding ways to contribute in a smaller role as an 18-year-old. While Sarr still needs to get stronger and continue to evolve offensively, he fits a coveted mold as a power forward/center with the potential to be a difference maker on both ends of the floor. Now, scouts quiet as kept think that he might be the actual best player in this draft when it comes to potential. And the Wizards pretty much said, to heck with this, we're stripping this joint down to bare minimum. In other words, we're going to be losing a lot. We're going to stock picks, because they also got Malcolm Brogdon from Portland for a couple other picks, one of which they got also in the first round. His name is Dylan Jones, excuse me. And this was pretty much a trade to get him. He was pick number 26, and he's from Weber State. Huh. Now, I thought there was another trade that they had. I thought they actually got another dude. I could have sworn they did at the 14th pick, but I might be wrong. Or that might have been traded. I don't know. A lot of stuff happened today. But I'm going to go by him, just by for what it is. Strengths. Jones is a jumbo playmaker with impressive versatility who flirted with triple-doubles all season at low major level. They dissed him because he played at Weber State. But remember, Dame Lillard came from Weber State too. It's always been biased with that. In other words, though, code words, he has a high motor. As weaknesses, as productive as he was, he still has questions about his explosiveness, shooting, and defensive intensity. In other words, he has a high motor, but they don't know really what the hell he is. The verdict, they don't know if he's a guard, they don't know if he's a forward. Verdict. Playing on the ball, 6'6", 235 pounds, with a 6'11" wingspan, Jones is a physical slasher with great instincts on both ends of the floor. While his assertiveness made him a force in Big Sky play, he'll surely need to improve his career 32% three-point marksmanship while transitioning to a more compact role in the NBA. In other words, he can't shoot. Not the three. He's a hustle dude, energy dude. All right. We can kind of roll with that, you know what I mean, for the Wizards. Now, before I get into my Lakers, though, I'm trying to pop it up right now of the dudes. Come on now. Why is technical difficulties when it comes to for some reason it keeps giving me the pics of these two teams, but I don't want the teams. I just want there we go. God dang it. I mean, this is what happens when you do a live show, so to speak, when you record live. Some technical difficulties get in the way. You know what I mean? Now, here we go. First person, and I love this. National champion, Stephen Castle. 4th overall pick by the San Antonio Spurs. I seen this kid play all year. He's 6'6", 210 pounds. He can play both point guard and shooting guard. If I remember correctly, he was Big East Rookie of the Year. Now, here's his strengths. Castle has excellent size and length with budding versatility on both ends of the floor. His competitiveness and unselfishness made him a key cog in UConn's national championship run and gave him a high floor at the next level. In other words, he's intelligent. Dan Hurley, he breeds intelligent ball players. Weaknesses. He shot just 27% from beyond the arc last season, and his mechanics leave much to be desired, especially when shooting off the dribble. Castle's ability to space the floor will be a swing skill for him in the NBA. In other words, he can't shoot. Not yet. Shooting is something you can work on. This is going to take a lot of reps. The verdict: Castle was often tasked with guarding the opposing team's best scorer, and the game seemed to slow down for him as the season wore on. He was able to pick and choose his spots on a talented roster. While he checks a lot of the boxes, his ability to turn the corner as a shooter and overall score will play a big role in how he's evaluated long term. In other words, he can get his buckets. He lets the game come to him. The reason why I wanted to focus on him, honestly speaking, Wemby got his point guard. San Antonio Spurs last year, a lot of times, when you got a dude that's 7'4", give him the damn ball. There were so many times I'm watching San Antonio Spurs game and I'm like, y'all are being selfish. Wemby averaged like 21 points, like 10 boards, and like 3.5 blocks. Wemby could have had 26 a game if his team passed him the rock. I mean, damn. I mean, what easy. I mean, easy. Now I'm getting the next screen up. But it would have been easy. This kid is going to get Wemby the ball. Not only going to get Wemby the ball, I can see a pick and roll scenario where Wemby pops and he's going straight to the cup. He's 6'6", 210 pounds. He's already strong. So guess what's going to happen? Spurs is building. Spurs is building. You know, also the Spurs took fellow Tar Heel Harrison Ingram. Second round. I just want to throw that out there. Let's go Tar Heels. Now, the second one I want to focus on before I get to my Lakers. Rob Dillingham from Kentucky. 6'1", 164 pounds. He went 8th overall. He was originally supposed to be a Spur. But, if I recall correctly, the Minnesota Timberwolves traded for him. The reason why I wanted to focus on him, let me give you his strengths. And I'm reading this again from ESPN. Dillingham is the most dynamic scoring guard in this draft. His combination of shiftiness, ball handling, passing, and shot making prowess showed vividly off the bench in Kentucky, where he averaged 15.2 points in 23.3 minutes a game. He gets buckets. His job when he came in is to get buckets, score, and I'll be honest, he's fast as fuck. From inline to inline, good luck staying with him. Tyrese Maxey-esque. Just speed. Weaknesses: he lacks ideal size and physicality to absorb contact in the lane and hold his own defensively. He's only 6'3" wingspan with a frame of under 170 pounds. In other words, he light in the ass. But in today's NBA, I don't think that's going to matter too much for him. The verdict: long known for his ability to heat up in a hurry at the prep level, Dillingham backed it up with efficient perimeter shot making and steady decision making as a passer and scorer in his lone season in the SEC. Even if he faces an uphill battle defensively, his offensive gifts give him some of the biggest star power of any prospect in this class. In other words, his job when he becomes, well, he's already become, when he gets in the game, I don't expect him to start. But you remember the Minnesota Timberwolves, besides Ant Edwards, who was going to consistently score? Because Cat kept going through the 3-point line bricking. So let's come. So what? Dallas did. We're gonna shift everything to him, and somebody's gonna beat us. This kid, when he comes in the game, his job is to get buckets. So, into the game situations, we need a bucket. Him and Ant will be playing together. Good luck on stopping it. Now, this all is precedent on, yo, can you adjust the NBA game? I think he can. I think he can. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Now we going to my Lakers. And I was so surprised he let me calm down. Calm down. This player, I was so surprised he dropped to us. Dalton Connect out of Tennessee, 6'6", 212 pounds. I'm just giddy. Let me go with the strengths. Connect is a top all-around scorer in his class, and he carried Tennessee last season with his shot-making prowess, pop up as a finisher, ability to draw fouls, putting the ball down aggressively, and tremendous scoring instincts from the wing. In other words, he gets buckets. 3-level score. Weaknesses, though. He's not a great rebounder or defender, but he also carried a huge burden for the Volunteers. He has good physical tools to continue to improve on that end of the floor as his awareness off the ball evolves. In other words, he ain't the greatest defender right now, but he can be. I'm giving y'all a little lean, breaking down stuff. The reason why I'm so excited about this is because we needed a shooter. We need somebody that when LeBron, for example, drives and kicks, besides Austin Reeves and D'Lo, we need someone to get buckets. This kid, and I'm about to go old school. For those that don't know or don't remember, I want y'all to Google Dan Marley for the Phoenix Suns. This kid reminds me of him. Dan Marley could get buckets. He was athletic enough, and he was a decent defender. He reminds me of Dan Marley, excuse me. But the biggest thing is he averaged, if I'm not mistaken, like 22 a game in college. He got buckets, man. I'm so excited for this. It don't make no sense. I ain't saying my Lakers going, because Boston won their chip. I'm not saying we going that far. But it's a step in the right direction. Do I think this kid can be a superstar? No. Do I think he can be an all-star? Yes. But it's going to depend on, and rumor has it that J.J. Redick, our new head coach, while he was getting drafted, he was already designing plays specifically for him. Pin downs and all that. Because he wants this boy to shoot. So if that's the case, yeah, we good. Now, the second pick that my Lakers did. Second round, at the number 55th pick, LeBron James Jr., a.k.a. Bronny James, was selected by my Lakers. If you have not been under a rock, he is the son of LeBron James. LeBron James got his wish. Nepotism at its finest, baby. Nepotism at its finest. Now, let me give you his strengths and weaknesses, like I said, read from ESPN. James is explosive, and I think they embellishing a little bit, but I'm going to say it anyway. James is an explosive guard with strong defensive versatility whose upward trajectory out of high school was interrupted by a medical emergency that derailed his freshman season. This is true. He had a heart ailment. He underwent procedure last summer to repair the congenital heart defect that was cleared to be drafted by the NBA Fitness Play panel. You really don't get no info from that besides he's good defensively. Weaknesses. James did not have an overly productive season at USC, averaging just 4.8 points a game, standing just under 6'3" in shoes. He is not a dynamic ball handler or shot creator, lacking assertiveness at times. I give Bronny a pass on that because he came in after the heart ailment. Team was already established. What you want him to kind of do? You know what I'm saying? What you want him to kind of do? Now, 6'3", just under. Okay, he's 6'2". Yeah. The verdict: James made strides as a senior in high school and had impressive showings in the spring All-Star circuit, but has had a difficult time finding his footing, at USC, especially as a scorer. He has a strong feel for the game, length, frame, budding shot maker prowess, and competitiveness. Defensively, give him plenty of things to work with in the long term if he can get back on the encouraging track he was believed to be on before his cardiac arrest. You see what I mean by the embellishing some stuff? If I was to put Bronny in a category of NBA ball players right now, I look at Mike Conley. Mike Conley doesn't have a flashy handle, but you're not plucking him. When Mike Conley was in his younger days, he was a hell defensive dude and could hit a shot. Right now, Mike Conley, to me, if he's got his feet set, is a bucket for three. I can see Bronny fitting this mold. Now, I this I think Bronny needs to develop, and there was something Rich Paul said on Gilbert Arenas podcast. And in today's NBA, I agree with him. College sometimes messes with a kid, whereas in the NBA, you can actually cultivate and help develop this kid if you are patient. Bronny is going to need patience. He got his dad with him. I'm going to talk about that in a sec. I'm expecting Bronny to get some minutes here and there. I do not expect Bronny to get 20 minutes a game next season. I don't. If y'all see Bronny getting 20 minutes a game, then I know something going on. But let me correct myself. Minutes here and there in the beginning, depending on the situation, where my Lakers fit in the playoff race, I can then see Bronny getting more minutes. I'm cool with that. But here's what I'm perturbed about. Bronny got drafted by my Lakers because of his dad. Okay. If you don't think that LeBron James kind of stronghold the NBA, they say, hey man, don't no one touch my son until the Lakers come up, so we can be father and son in the NBA together and we playing together. That's nepotism at its finest. And the funny part about it, I'm perturbed about it because you're holding my franchise hostage. Because I know you're going to sign another 2 to 3 year deal, which means everything that my Lakers do is going to be catered to LeBron James until they decide that they want to move on and develop something in the future. The Buss family was great. Well, Dr. Buss, Jerry Buss was great. Jeannie Buss right now, listen to the Rambuses and GM Rob Pelinka, my Lakers are middle of the pack. And in the NBA, you need to be either good or bad. The reason why I say good is good means championship contender. Bad means like the Wizards. We just getting up assets until we hit gold, and then we can build from there. Get a young core, and we can build from there. Right now, my Lakers being held hostage. This is why I say about the nepotism part. I don't blame LeBron for getting his son in the NBA. I blame LeBron for forcing the NBA and the Lakers to draft Bronny. And anybody who thinks that that's not true, you're smoking something. There's no fault for Bronny because, to be honest, nepotism happens all the time. It happens in business all the time. You got the son who's the the son of, let's say, a CEO of a major company. All of a sudden, this kid gets in after college, gets in the mailroom. You don't know he's the CEO's son or owner of the company's son. But then about 5 years later, he gets promoted. Another 5 years after that, he gets promoted. Another 5 years after that, gets promoted. And when daddy's ready to retire, he becomes the vice president or CEO. It happens all the time. It happens in business. I'm not mad at it. I'm just perturbed by the fact that my Lakers are being held hostage by LeBron James for at least another 2-3 years. And the reason why I'm upset about it, because he's going to command at least $60 million a year. Do you realize $60 million a year can actually give my Lakers a bench? That's what happened last year. We ain't had no bench. Is my, let's say, and I had a couple of my boys say, man, you had just hating on LeBron. You hating on LeBron. No, I'm not. I respect LeBron. I just knew what was going to come with LeBron James when it came to my Lakers. Look at the history of when he leaves a franchise. The Cleveland Cavaliers, the first time when he left. How did that work out? He went to Miami. 4 NBA finals in a row, 2 chips. How did Miami look after he left? Went back to Cleveland. Cleveland had no one pick. Traded Andrew Wiggins, who played the same position as LeBron, shipped him off to Minnesota. Now, Andrew eventually got his ring with the Golden State Warriors, and we don't know what's going on in his mind and his motor right now. But imagine LeBron James teaching Andrew Wiggins. Andrew could have played the 2 spot. LeBron don't want that. No. It's all about LeBron. Got them the championship and left. How was Cleveland after he left again? In shambles. It took the New Jersey Nets and a deal really to get Cleveland back to what it, to at least a playoff team. Now my Lakers, remember he didn't, when LeBron first came down, he was hurt a little bit. My Lakers the first year didn't make the playoffs. I've went on several podcasts and told y'all how many players that we pretty much got rid of for LeBron, and because of LeBron, I should say. That's all I'm saying. My Lakers don't have a plan. He's 39 years old. That's why I said we're being held hostage. We do not have a plan. Please get us a plan for when he leaves so we are not doo-doo as the other franchises that he has done to in the past. When he leaves, they're doo-doo. That's all I'm saying. And transition to basically some shit. As I mentioned earlier, we had the presidential debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I called a friend of mine before I got on the podcast who's a Republican. And I said, this is the saddest presidential debate I've ever seen in my life. ever. And I've been low key in politics and certain things for about 20 to 25 years. This is horrible. We got a we got an old dude. Speaking of Biden, Joe Biden. No disrespect, but he needs to retire. Sometimes he was not fast enough. I don't want to say incoherent because when you're 80 years old, you're not going to be fast all the time. Sometimes you just and collect your thoughts. Sometimes there was a little mumble here and there. That wasn't good. And now we got another candidate who's old, who also needs to retire. But he's a sociopath, a liar, and now a felon. And I'm speaking of Donald Trump. These are our candidates for President of the United States of America. I'm watching the debate. And the first 3 minutes of the debate, I'm looking at Joe Biden. I'm like, damn. Sometimes he looked lost. I will openly admit that. Now, when Joe perked up, as a lot of older people do, he was on it. He called Trump a whiner, called him a liar, and Joe Biden was spitting facts when he was on it. I'm trying to be polite. Donald Trump was just lying on his ass. And then when Donald Trump was actually making some sense, he can't help himself but to embellish a situation. And I'm like, damn, you just had that and then you embellished a situation. He keeps hollering about the border and everybody dying and this and this and that and this and that. No, nobody is. And what I'm about to try to do, I'm trying to find something that actually um there we go. That I want to play. I'm trying to find it now. And of course, when I'm trying to find it, it disappears on me. It was something that Colin Cowherd said maybe about a week ago. And I want to play this for you all. And for some reason, my phone keeps acting up. Well, Donald. There we go. And this is something that I need Republicans and Democrats to deal with, because the politic game to me is just, we're better than you. We're better than other people. But this is what Donald Trump keeps saying, that our country is this, our country is falling, our country. Let me pose, and I want any Republican, Democrat, liberal, or conservative to listen what Colin Cowherd had to say. This was about a couple of weeks ago. And all credit to him. I don't listen to Colin Cowherd on sports a lot because sometimes he do some wild stuff. I don't say he says some wild stuff. His takes are like, yeah. But he was dead on this. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to this.
Trump is now a felon. His campaign chairman was a felon. So is his deputy campaign manager, his personal lawyer, his chief strategist, his national security advisor, his trade advisor, his foreign policy advisor, his campaign fixer, and his company CFO. They're all felons, judged by the company you keep. It's a cabal of convicts. If everybody in your social circle is a felon, I don't think it's rigged. I don't think the world's against you. And to get people to agree on anything, 34 counts, 0 for 34, I mean, that's a batting slump even the New York Mets could be impressed with. 0 for 34. When you're constantly trying to sell me on an America that I don't see, I'm not saying inflation's not an issue, but I get on airplanes all the time, and it's not a bunch of rich people. I don't fly private. I get on planes, there's people in normal clothes that don't look rich to me, and the planes are all full, and the hotels are all full, and the freeways are all full. That means people are going to work. You're trying to sell me on this story and this narrative that's just not true. I have single people that live next to me, young families that live next to me. People aren't grousing. They're not miserable all day. Now, they're not talking politics, but, Trump's entire game plan is the country is in a free fall. Maybe in the Trump-centric neighborhoods it is. It's not anywhere for my sister, who lives rurally, doesn't have a lot of crime in her neighborhood. I don't. My friends don't. We live all over Los Angeles, in one of those big, scary cities that voted for liberals. Ooh, scary. But when everybody in your team, everybody in your group, your cabal is a felon, maybe the world's not against you. But stop trying to sell me on everything's rigged, the country's falling into the sea. Maybe some of you are just unhappy. Maybe you're only happy when you're unhappy. But the America that I live in is imperfect, but compared to the rest of the world, I think we're doing okay. And if you're not, is it possible? Just possible. I'm not even saying probable. Is it possible if your life has just been miserable for the last 4 years? It's not exclusively the fault of somebody in 1600 North Pennsylvania Avenue. Maybe it's not all their fault. Well,
Once again, that was Colin Cowherd from The Herd, FS1 sports analysis commentator, a white dude, speaking something a couple weeks ago on his podcast. For those that are conservative, please heed that message for real. Because what Colin Cowherd is saying is the America that I don't see. What I mean by that is everything that Donald Trump is telling you is not happening. I consider myself middle class. I do not see crime everywhere we turn. I do not see the border as the super duper problem that everybody says. And here's something I speak on. And I've argued with this with people because people don't get it. If someone from another country that barely speaks English comes in and takes your job, you are shitty at your job. They take the jobs that we as Americans frown upon and don't want to deal with. Agriculture, construction, landscaping, things that have to deal with your hands, the dirty jobs, sewage. Ask Floridians right now and DeSantis when he did that dumbass law, what happened to the Florida roads and stuff that was getting done. Undocumented immigrants bounced. They do the jobs we don't want to do. Now, unfortunately, that mother lost her daughter because of one dude, one illegal immigrant that came over and murdered. Are all the people that come over the border murderers? No. If anything, what they try to do is keep a low profile so they don't get deported. So guess what? There's no crime with them mostly. Because if we catch them in a crime, they're getting deported. Do y'all use common sense or no? Is it the crisis at the border though? Yes, somewhat of a crisis, the way I figure it, because too many people coming in, supposedly. But this was stolen land anyway, so what the fuck? Donald Trump said openly, people from Middle East is coming over and whatever. You know what? Here's I want everybody to pull out the map of the United States of America. From Maine all the way around Florida, going to Texas, that's water. You worried about the southern border. Do y'all realize that from last stats I looked at, about 40% of illegal immigrants come by air? Don't believe me, Google that. Bing it, Yahoo, whatever the hell you want to do. So if there are terrorists, as Donald Trump said today, coming from the Middle East, guess where they're coming from? They're coming by plane. But he has you thinking that America's burning. Crime's actually gone down significantly, actually, since Biden's been in office. This is something Biden should have said when he was hearing. Crime has gone down, violent crime especially. And we can't talk about crime and all this stuff when you're a felon. By the way, Biden did do a shot at that, and then Trump came back with your son's a felon, and then Biden came back with some more stuff about you being a felon. Now that was Joe, but I'm gonna be honest, Joe looked like he needed to go to sleep. It was past his bedtime. So as a Democrat, if you are a Democrat, you should be scared to death of this one. Now Trump didn't do great, but he was more. I would say he was more alive, but he lies too damn much. And there were several questions that were specific questions to Donald Trump he did not answer. He went on about Ukraine, Putin, the election was rigged, da 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 da. He's spinning that whole bullshit again. Will I be voting for Joe Biden? Yes. Because I see what the problem is on this side. Here's what I think is probably going to end up happening. And Democrats right now in the Congress, Senate, and other tickets, they're probably fritting in the boots. But here's what I'm thinking. Joe Biden wins. Maybe about 6 months to a year down the road, he steps down and Kamala Harris takes over. And then she can get her VP, which probably is going to be Hakeem Jeffries. And then we go from there. I'm a firm believer that Donald Trump does not need to be in this office. And how I spoke of with my Republican friends, like neither one of these dudes need to be in office. They do not need to be in office. We got too many problems. Why do we have 80-year-olds running for the highest seat in the land? Where are the 50-year-olds at? And my boy mentioned Gavin Newsom. Like, he's better than both of these dudes. And I would say a Republican dude, but there's no one viable from this party. Conservatives / Republicans, can you honestly say, besides Donald Trump, is there anyone in your party that can probably run the country and be presidential? Donald Trump's really not presidential. I'm just throwing spitballing. Can you point out somebody that the country would be like, I don't like his politics, but at least we can deal with him? That's the way I look at it. Can we deal with you? And like I said, my Republican friend said Gavin Newsom for y'all. Like, he's better than both. Come on, man. What we doing here? What are we doing? We got an old dude that needs to retire and go take a nap. And then both of them started jawing about their activity and stuff. Well, Biden said he's got a 6 handicap. Trump saying he won some, that not a senior tour, a regular joint. Bama, please. Trump said at one point, I passed all my cognitive tests, but then repeated to go, after he goes down this rabbit hole, it says, well, in the same text, well, they didn't give me the cognitive test or whatever. I'm like, what? You just snitched on yourself. What are we doing? This is what we got. We went from Ronald was old and caused a lot of these problems that we actually have today. And that's 40 years. Right, Ronald Reagan, Reaganomics, trickle down effect. A lot of the stuff, inflation, whatever, was caused by his policies. And once again, here's the thing I wanted people to understand. I'm getting passionate about this. I'm going to say it again. The president has nothing to do with inflation. It's basic economics 101. Corporations raise their prices. Your wages do not go up. Reaganomics caused that rift because he gave them tax breaks for bigger profits. And they did not guarantee that you would get a raise. So he was thinking, in his dumbness, was if the companies make profit, they're going to either give people raises or give them promotions. The corporations did not do that. They just took the profit, and it's been this way forever. The federal minimum wage is $7.25. Excuse me. Let me check. I'm grabbing my phone real quick. Is it $7.25 or $7.50? Oh, yep, I'm right. I wish y'all could see it. $7.25. If you could see it. It's been that way since 2009. What year we on it? Oh, 2024. So that's 15 years. Now, states have their own minimum wage, but the federal minimum wage, that's the lowest. If the states didn't want to pay you, they can go to that. There's no state in the union that you can get a 1-bedroom apartment off $7.25 an hour. Come on, man, what we doing? Trump talking about Social Security. Biden wants to take away. No, the Republic, your party wants to do that. They blatantly said it. But here's the problem: conservatives / Republicans, and this is the part that I don't get. This is another part where I'm kind of off kilter with rambling, but they want you all to be emotional and dumb. And I'm speaking of Republicans / conservatives. This is what Donald Trump and majority of his party wants you to be. I'm no fan of the Democratic Party. I'm not, because their messaging sucks. They refuse to tell the American public what we do. They refuse to do it. And it's crazy to me. I will be going buck wild right now, saying everything positive that we have done. Even with the border, it's been documented that Donald Trump has called his MAGA Republican friends, say, do not do this bill. I need something to run off on Joe Biden. But the border got too crazy. This is what civics class and social studies was for. 3 branches of government. Congress is the ones that rule the country. They run the country, not the president. He's the face. Every law that we deal with and situation, Congress votes on. The president, after it's voted on by Congress and they say it's cool, he signs the bill to make it pure law at that point. Executive orders are not laws. There's situations that I got to do to get this shit done. And for an executive order, it has to go through Congress a couple of times before you say, man, the heck with this. We need this done. Even if when it comes to war, he cannot declare war. Congress has to vote on it. What were y'all doing in civics class? I learned this in the 3rd grade. And it's still here. Damn, man. We got to do better. Let me get up out of here, man. To recap, Bronny James is now a Laker. I'm happy with my Laker picks. The Wizards, by me living here, I got a soft spot. I'm happy with those picks. Gave you a couple of dudes that I think you need to watch during the NBA season. And of course, this god awful presidential debate by 2 old ass dudes. I'm out, man. But as I always tell you all, especially today, may Father and the ancestors take care of you, your loved ones, and anybody else that you care about. I see y'all when I see y'all, man. Peace.